September 29th is National Coffee Day. So once again, Don Francisco's has sponsored this video, so stay tuned after the video for a chance to win a really cool prize. On this week's episode, we are going into space, or as close as some of the budgets of these films would reasonably allow. We're talking about 10 clones of Alien. That's right, Ridley Scott's original Alien film was an extremely influential sci-fi blockbuster, and we're going to find out if some of these movies that are clones or knockoffs or just inspired by can also be blockbusters or just kind of lackluster. Number 10. So before Aliens happened, there was another sequel to Alien that was a little less official, like 100% less. It was Alien 2 on Earth from 1980 and starts with a high-tech blue screen TV set. Wow, look at the budget of that show. And telepathic cave expert Thelma has a vision while a space shuttle is landing, and there's this amazing character.
I seen you on television. What happened?
Nothing.
Who? Where are our friends? Say who?
Our friends, where are they?
They're down there.
Thanks.
Hold the ground.
Because I'm nuts.
Say who?
Because it's spooky down there.
And the little girl finds a weird rock on the beach that I guess destroys her face? She was sitting calmly, just crying right before this, though.
What's the matter, honey?
Bert here finds another blue rock and takes it with him, and Thelma and her husband, Roy, who's like a discount BG, go spelunking. And one thing you need when you go spelunking is a typewriter. Jill here finds the rock and gets attacked, and they have to help her out, and of course a small creature erupts from her face and attacks because, you know, this is Alien 2, the sequel to Alien. Everything happens extremely slowly as they bounce around this cave so much it should have been called Alien 2 Under Earth. The creature starts picking people off with these tentacle things, turning their faces into goo because this monster just straight up hates faces, and when he disguises himself as Cliff, Thelma uses her powers to blow up his head and reveal the alien underneath. Thelma and Roy escape the cave but find out that the creatures are everywhere in the, I guess, thrilling finale? Except for the alien offspring bursting from a host, there's not a lot here that's overly derivative of Alien enough to warrant the title of Alien 2, but that's Italian horror flicks for you. There was apparently a lawsuit between Fox and the producers of this film over the title, but when it was pointed out that there was a pre-existing novel from the 1930s called Alien, Fox lost the case and the title stuck. Number 9. Back in 1993, another ripoff rose with Dark Universe, and wow, how about that title sequence? We have a guy in space who communicates with Earth with Joe Estevez, brother of Emilio and Charlie Sheen, who appears to be literally the only person at mission control, and something goes wrong on re-entry, resulting in some great early 90s morphing, and when the ship crashes, the pilot is now a creature that looks, well, rather Giger-esque. A group of archaeologists in the swamps of Florida, although the whole film basically looks like it was shot in the woods behind someone's house, and the actors all seem like they were someone's neighbors, and it contains what may be the most unbelievable and insanely awkward prelude to a sex scene of all time. And hey, mutant armadillo! It's hilariously obvious that all of Joe Estevez's scenes was shot separate from anything else, like they had him for one day and 2 locations, and it wouldn't be an alien knockoff if a smaller version of the creature didn't erupt from somebody's body. I know the storyline of this one is kind of its own thing and it's mostly present day on Earth, but look at this box and look at this monster and tell me they didn't have a certain Ridley Scott movie in mind. Number 8. In 1985 we get, let's see, what's another word? One word title that we could use instead of Alien. How about a creature? So, some guys in some familiar looking spacesuits unleash a centuries-old alien.
Howard, would you come over here? I have to take a picture and I need you for scale.
Scale my ass! Of course, there's a distress signal, and a team of scientists have to go down to investigate because that's the formula. And Simone is there with him with her big butt, and they land on Titan with some cool model work. They encounter the alien, or excuse me, creature, and when creepy old Klaus Kinski shows up as the sole survivor of the colony, his first instinct is to feel up the first woman he sees. There's a thing where the creature can use the bodies of people that it's killed, which drives a good portion of the second act here, mainly so they can avoid showing the big guy, I imagine. Although when they do show it, it's decently lit to make it look pretty good. And there's actually some pretty cool gore effects as well. When they do put the creature front and center, it's, well, you can see why they keep it in shadows for so long, and it's clearly a knockoff. Overall, this one's not as clone-ish as some of the other ones on this list, but it definitely starts out that way. It's not exactly a great flick, because it's a little on the dull side, but it has some nice fun moments. Number 7. The most recent movie on this list is 2017's Life, which goes to prove that the premise of an alien creature set loose in space in narrow corridors will never get old. This one has Donnie Darko, Rose the Hat, and Ryan Reynolds as that one character that Ryan Reynolds always plays. I mean, I like the guy, but he's less diverse in his roles than Jack Black. So this is about finding a cell from a soil sample from Mars, which of course begins growing at a rapid rate, gaining intelligence and size, and escapes. Like a facehugger, it forces itself down a throat, eventually breaking out in a bigger form, looking kinda familiar. From there, it's the same old kinda quarter-stalking one-by-one kill thing that all of these are, just with a little more highbrow gloss, but the plot still revolves around supposedly smart characters doing really stupid things. At least the Calvin monster has a little more distinctive shape than normal, even if its overall design is a bit generic. Oddly, the trailer for this one had everyone thinking that it was going to be a Venom prequel because it used shots from Spider-Man 3 and just seems like it could be an origin story for how the symbiote gets to Earth. But that didn't turn out to be the case, which is only slightly more disappointing than the actual Venom movie. Number 6. Back in 1980, yet another Italian production tried to cash in on Alien with 1980's Contamination, also known as Alien Contamination, although it was written under the title Alien Arrives on Earth. Similar to Zombie, it starts with an abandoned ship cruising into New York Harbor, although instead of a fat zombie, it has a bunch of dead guys who have been exploded from the inside out. They find a bunch of weird oversized eggs, which of course burst open. The substance inside causes the guys to explode from within, creating some distinct alien similarities. I'm not sure who came up with these hazmat suits, but I'm not sure a giant metal helmet is that practical. They discover the eggs are from space, and there's some really familiar looking shots of them finding them in a cave on Mars.
Hamilton was beginning to... Hamilton!
Calm down, dude. You can just watch it on Disney Plus now. Jeez. This one goes into a sort of weird James Bond adventure kind of film for a while, and we don't get any alien action until the very ending. And there's some pretty great stuff there, but it's pretty clear that the alien influence on this one was pretty superficial. And although there are some bits of it that are definite knockoff territory, it's kind of its own thing. That own thing is pretty weird, though. Number 5. In 1981, the film Insemination released, and so, the movie Alien was less than subtly about reproduction, right? It had a creature with a penis head, another creature that was oddly vaginal looking, eggs, things that burst from your chest. I mean, it's some pretty blatant imagery, so how about a movie that takes that same stuff and makes it even less subtle? Like, Insemination is even in the title. There's some more familiar suits and settings, and one of the crew is taken back under unusual circumstances, of course. It takes a full half hour for a creature to show up, and you know how the facehugger sticking part of itself down Kane's mouth to implant offspring is insinuated rape? Well, this is literally just the alien laying Sandy on a table and inseminating her with this tube. Where did the table come from? They were in a cave. Is the tube its penis? Are we seeing a metaphorical version of what's going on? What's going on? She becomes pregnant and starts to kill people, and weird thing about this movie is that with the wardrobe and setting at times, it doesn't even look like it's supposed to be set in space. She finally gives birth after a long drought of any alien action in this movie, and yeah, it's kind of dull in the long run. Number 4. Roger Corman is well known for riding on the coattails of popular trends, so back in '81, it's no surprise that he wanted his own alien knockoff. So he got Galaxy of Terror, which is loaded with genre actors like early days Freddy Krueger, early days Captain Spaulding, Sarah Palmer. This guy is Zalman King, who actually went on to have a much bigger career on the other side of the camera, and my favorite Martian. Of course, they're sent to an alien planet to rescue a downed crew and enter a large, derelict ship, because, this list. And very quickly, team members are being attacked and killed by various creatures. Although this isn't just one alien creature, it's a force that manifests their fears, resulting in this film's most notorious sequence, which is the giant maggot rape. YouTube's not going to let me show it, you just gotta trust me that that's what happens. It's probably one of the better looking movies on this list and might actually be a little familiar since the film's production designer was a young James Cameron just a few short years before taking on an actual alien movie, and it's pretty clear that this was like a test run for some of his concepts on that movie. Number 3. So something weird happened in 1989 and there were 2 alien clones in the same year with the same basic premise, which was, hey, what if we just made Alien underwater instead of in space? You had Deep Star 6, directed by Friday the 13th Sean Cunningham, which, after an opening credit sequence over top shots of an underwater reef, told the story of a deep-sea work crew featuring Bob Morton, Discount Mahoney, Rent, and a Pretty Little Liar. When they find an undersea cavern, of course they set free some sort of unknown creature that starts to kill them off, which turns out to be this big crab-looking thing. And the most hilarious thing about this one is that like 75% of this movie can't happen if Snyder here wasn't the biggest idiot in film. There's some really hilarious submarine shots near the very end though, and a final fight above surface. Leviathan though is a whole nother story in that it's about 8% different. It's by George Cosmatos, who directed Rambo and Tombstone, and whose son directed Mandy. So, after an opening credit sequence over top shots of an underwater reef, it tells the story of a deep-sea work crew featuring Buckaroo Banzai, a wet bandit, Zedmore, Christina McGee, Rambo's pal, and Evil Lynn. When they find a sunken ship, Six-Pack finds a flask that he drinks from, which starts to mutate him. It merges with Bowman and continues to change, part of it mutating into this slug-looking thing, and quickly grows up and starts to kill them off. And it absorbs the people it kills, so it's actually a little bit of a Thing ripoff as well. Even to the point of the Doc character destroying their ways out in order to make sure it doesn't reach the general public. It's revealed to be this big fish-looking thing, which was actually designed by Stan Winston, believe it or not, and a final fight above surface. Both films are pretty poorly regarded, but if I had to choose the best underwater creature feature of 1989, the answer is The Abyss. Number 2. Back in 1958, one of the more blatant rip-offs was It, the Terror from Beyond Space. It takes place in the far, far future of 1973 and lets us know that an expedition to Mars has only one survivor, so they send another team to retrieve him. Something gets in through the airlock, and it tends to skulk around through the air ducts, appearing to kill people every once in a while. It's even killed by launching it out into space, just like Alien. What a ripoff! Wait, what? This was out a long time before Alien? Alien is actually a ripoff of this movie. Okay, so actually number 2 then. How about 1965's Planet of the Vampires? It's a really stylish space expedition with, I guess, the prototypes for the X-Men movie costumes, and features a foggy alien landscape, an alien wreck with large skeletal remains of its crew, so it's pretty clear that they were directly inspired by Alien. And what? This was before Alien 2? Alien is also a ripoff of this. Never mind then. Okay, number 1. 1989's Shocking Dark might seem like an odd fit for this list considering that this is the cover, and it was released as Terminator 2 overseas. It starts with a Venice that is now mostly underwater, and this facility with this control room that's really convincing. So many flashing lights. A bunch of people die, so they send in Ripley, and of course there's a corporate interest who has to go with them. These aren't Colonial Marines, though. This is the Megaforce!
I repeat, all members of the Megaforce will proceed to Assembly Point H immediately.
All right, you bunch of pussies, I'm back and I'm kicking ass.
Who is she even talking to? Everyone in the room is established to be over here. Then, she's very excited about a new gun, so she proceeds to aim it directly at members of her own team. They all go on a bug hunt, and here's where I point out that this one was written by Claudio Fragasso, most known as the writer-director of Troll 2, and directed by Bruno Mattei, Italian schlock director extraordinaire. The Marines find a bunch of people webbed up to the walls, and one of them is alive, but ask them to kill him before a creature bursts out of him. Monsters start coming at them, and surprise, surprise, they find a young girl that survived. And there's a completely inexplicable scene where Coster produces a photo of pre-disaster Venice from, I guess, her bra, and then gives it to her teammate, telling him that she has more. More in her bra? Does she have like a whole photo album down there? And why was she even carrying that? And why did she pick that moment to just give it away? They knock a dummy down, of course.
They've done it.
What is it, Fuller?
It's practically DNA. No, it's more like an enzyme that's similar to DNA, completely redesigned by computer. A masterpiece.
Oh, I get it now. That's cleared up everything. There's a scene with a bedazzled motion detector, and it seems like the creatures are right on top of them, but it turns out, well, I think they were supposed to be up in the ducts, but they just kinda appear? Then, oh no, Fuller is revealed to be a robot, and he hides it by covering it with his hand instead of, just rolling down his sleeve. And then when Sarah gives little Samantha a pep talk, she says,
"Don't worry. I won't leave you alone for a minute.
Promise?
Cross my heart."
Until to die?
Man, even in the dialogue.
We're in trouble.
See? This one is such a clone that calling it a ripoff sounds unfair. It's more like a sweeted version that Mos Def and Jack Black would have made. They call Fuller a replicant, so they're going for the hat trick by ripping off Blade Runner 2, I guess. I suppose this is where the whole Terminator thing comes into play, and it's also pretty blatant, but considering Alien also had an android go rogue and...
Stop it. Everybody knows that the Tubular Corporation is nothing more than a big cover-up. Your largest shareholders are arms dealers and speculators like Levine and Benson, warmongers developing chemical and bacteriological weapons.
But if you blow the aqueduct, the mutation will be assimilated into the entire ecosystem on a planetary level. The whole world will be polluted.
I forgot what I was saying. Samantha falls down a vent, so Sarah has to go get her, of course. And this is great. When Fuller gets knocked off the edge here, the dummy hits a railing, and its head pops off, and they still used that shot. The ending of this one gets really wackadoo because time travel gets involved. Yeah, just watch this one and watch it with friends. Involves some liquids or some other things. Okay, it's prize time. So September 29th is National Coffee Day, so Don Francisco's has come out to sponsor us. Don Francisco's coffee is 100% Arabica, roasted and blended under the careful supervision of the 3rd and 4th generation coffee roasters, and uses technology in their bags with a one-way valve to keep coffee as fresh as possible. This is the good stuff. If you are a coffee lover, you do not want to miss out on this basket, and here's how you can win this basket. You just need to answer this trivia question and send the answer to themovietimelinesguy@gmail.com. And the question is, in my section about the movie Creature, there is a cutaway to me in which I say a joke which is a reference to one of the greatest movies of all time. What is that movie? So there you have it, 10 movies that are inspired in one way or another by aliens. Some of them way more than others, like Shocking Dark. Although I will tell you that Shocking Dark is a blast and you should watch it. There's a bunch of these that you should watch. There's a couple of them near the ending of the list that aren't really that exciting to watch. But absolutely watch Shocking Dark. It's phenomenal. And there's a lot of them that are pretty enjoyable. Leviathan and Deep Star 6 are worth checking out. They're fun. I really enjoyed Galaxy of Terror. It's a pretty cool movie for the budget that it was and everything. So I would check that out as well. If you can think of some other alien knockoffs, let me know down below. I like when you guys let me know of some other things that you think about. I know when I did the Texas Chainsaw knockoffs, I got enough additional ones to create a sequel to that video in the near future, just based upon movies that you guys suggested. So let me know some other alien knockoffs as well, and we'll check those out. Let me know what you thought about the movies on this list and other things you want to see me do lists of. I'm really enjoying doing these, so let me know what you thought of them. Click that like button, hit subscribe, share this out to your friends. Check out the patrons over here because the patrons are awesome, helping to keep this channel going. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you very shortly for another great video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.